At problem B, everybody there. Problem A is already what? It's done. It's done for us. Now, I will say, this right here where it says 3 units equals 1 unit, we're going to... we don't need to know it. Just that one spot right there. That 3 units equals 1 and 1 unit equals 1 divided by 3, we're not worrying about that. So this part right here. Also, I don't want to see any pins out. Not one person should have a pin in their hand. Not one person. Okay. Now, we are on problem B. Well, if we first, sorry, let's go back to problem 1 or problem A. It's already done for us, but if we look at it, it says 1 divided by 3. They said this whole rectangle is worth what? 1. How many times did they divide it?
3.
They divided it into 3 pieces, right? 1, 2, 3, correct? Okay, and they said 1 divided by 3, if you wrote that as a fraction, would be what? 1/3. So each of these pieces is worth 1/3. Okay? And then over here, they came over and checked it. Well, we don't know how to do multiplying a whole number by a fraction. All it is repeated addition. Okay? So we're going to go into that. So they said 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, which is what you have over here, equals what? 3/3. And 3/3 equals a whole. Okay, so now let's do number 2. Not number 2, letter B. Let's do letter B. Okay. It says 2 divided by 3. How much? First, I need to draw my rectangle. There's my rectangle. How much is that whole rectangle worth? Not 3. 2. The whole thing is worth 2. Now, I can't draw that super fancy line like they did, so I just drew a straight line. And then I added a little line up and said 2. Now, how many times did it need to be divided?
3.
3 times. So to divide it into how many pieces?
3.
3. And if we wrote 2 divided by 3 as a fraction, what would we write? 2 over 3. Right? So we just said 2 divided by 3 equals 2/3. So this one piece is worth 2/3. This piece is worth 2/3. And this last piece is worth 2/3. Now let's come over and check. How would I check that? I would just add what together? 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3. And I'm going to write check above it so that I know what I'm doing here. What is 2 plus 2 plus 2? 6/3. 6/3 is the same as 2. So were we correct? So our answer would be 2/3. Not on that one. If it's not an improper fraction, you shouldn't have to divide. Is this an improper fraction? No. Okay, we got it? Colt? Okay, letter C. 7 divided by 5. Well, first I need to draw my tape diagram, so go ahead and draw it. And that whole thing is worth
7.
I want to hear everybody answering when I ask a question. The whole thing is worth what?
7.
How many times are we dividing it? 5. So divide it into 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, how would I write 7 divided by 5 as a fraction, Colt?
7 divided by 5 as a fraction. 7 over 5.
7 over 5. I need you to be with me, not with Ben. Now, like I just told Carter, if it's not an improper fraction, we don't have to divide. Is this an improper fraction? Yes, so we need to divide. So we need to come out here and do standard algorithm division. What number goes inside and what number goes outside?
7 goes inside and 5 goes outside.
Perfect. How many times does 5 go into 7?
1.
1. 1 times 5 is
A 5.
5. 7 minus 5 is 2. So I need to put this back together. How many whole times did it go in?
1.
1 whole time. How many do we have left? 2. And what is our denominator? 5. So 1 piece is worth what? 1 and?
2 fifths.
So then this next piece is worth 1 and?
2 fifths.
And the next piece?
1 and 2 fifths.
And the next piece?
1 and 2 fifths.
And the last piece?
1 and 2 fifths.
How would I check that?
Adding it all.
Add it all together. I'm seeing a lot of people getting distracted. I don't know where our heads are at, but we're getting distracted. You need to add your fractions first. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So fractions would be 10 what?
10 fifths.
10 fifths. And then we need to add our whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I leave my answer like this?
No.
No. 10 fifths is the same as 2. It's the same as 2. There's 5 fifths plus 5 fifths, right? Which equals 2. So 2 plus 5 is,
2.
huh? 7. Were we correct? So our answer is 1 and what? 2 fifths. 1 and 2 fifths. One and 2 fifths. Who's not ready for me to move on? Okay, if you are ready, then you're looking up, your pencil's down. That way I know you're ready to move on. We're not drawing pictures on our page as pretty as I want it to be. Okay, pencils back up. We're on letter D. 14 divided by 5. First, I need to draw my what?
Diagram.
Tape diagram. Now, the whole class, I want to hear, the whole thing is worth what?
14.
14. That whole thing is worth 14. How many times did we divide that whole thing? 5 times. We divided it into 5 pieces. I need to write 14 divided by 5 as a fraction. How would I write that as a fraction, Colt?
You would write that 14 over 5.
14 over 5. Your pencil should be back up in your hands, Colt. You're missing good information here. Is this an improper fraction? So I need to divide. What number goes inside and what number goes outside?
14 goes inside and 5 goes outside.
14 goes inside and 5 goes outside. How many times does 5 go into 14?
It's twice.
Twice. 2 times 5 is 10. And how many do I have left? 4. So how much is each piece worth? Put it back together. 2 and
4 fifths.
very Very good. Everybody should have that written so far. Now, if I wanted to check, I would just add up what? My mixed numbers. So if we add our fractions first, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. 4 times 5 is what? 20. So it'd be 20 fifths. And then 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Would be 10. Can I leave 10 and 20 fifths the way it is? No. 20 fifths is equal to 4. It sure is, because it would be like saying 5 fifths plus 5 fifths plus 5 fifths plus 5 fifths equals what? Yes, but it also equals 4. And 4 plus 10 is 14. So our answer is 2 and 4 fifths. This is where we checked. We got it? Don't worry, Emma. We're gonna get there, sister. You're looking a little confused. We're gonna get there. Once you got it, flip over. Hey, Isaac, are you with me? You got this last one written? Okay. This is the same thing we did yesterday. For some of you, this is new information. For others of you, this is not. Don't panic. All it's wanting us to do is take this and put it into a fraction. How would we write 6 divided by 7 as a fraction?
6 over 7.
6 over 7. Boop. Now, the between which two whole numbers does your answer fall? We're not worried about that. We don't have to know it for our test. But if you were to look at this, is this a whole 6/7?
No.
No, because a whole would be 7/7. So obviously it would fall between 0 and 1. Okay, so let's do our standard algorithm division. How many times can 7 go into 6? 0. So 0 times 7 is 0. So we're left with 6, which if we were to put that as a fraction would be what? 6/7. Like I said, don't panic. It really is pretty basic. Okay, letter C. It's given us the fraction, but now we need to find out the division expression. Well, 55 tenths. How would I write that as my division problem? How would I write it? Trayvon, how would I write it? We've got 55 tenths. I need it as a division equation. Yep, 55 divided by 10. So now let's go ahead and do our division. What number goes inside and what number goes outside?
55 inside and 10 outside.
Perfect. How many times can 10 go into 55? 5 times. What's 10 times 5? 50. And how many do we have left? 5. So what is my mixed number? 5 and 5 tenths. What is 5 tenths also equal to? 1/2. Or half. Okay. If we did want to do this part, what two numbers would 5 and 5 tenths fall between? 5 and
6.
Yep. Again, do we need to know that part for our test? No. You want to do the next one? Okay, give me just a second. Letter D. Blessing, how would we write that as a division problem? 32 divided by 40, correct. Now it's already got our division problem set up over here. How many times can 40 go into 32? 0. So 0 times 40 is 0. So we're left with 32. Is there anything that we can divide both 32 and 40 to make 32 40ths smaller? 8. Very good. Whatever you do on bottom, you also do on top. So what's 32 divided by 8? 4. What is 40 divided by 8? 5. So our reduced fraction would be what? 4/5. Very good. So 4/5, what two numbers would that fall between? Yes, 1 and 0. You would say 0 and 1, but yes. Got it? And our last page. Our last page. Greg spent $4 on 5 packs of sport cards. How much did Greg spend on each pack? Well, it tells us he spent $4 on what? 5 packs. So we need to do what? 4 divided by 5, right? How would you write 4 divided by 5 as a fraction? 4 over 5. So if we were to draw our tape diagram, I'm going to draw it up here. If we were to draw our tape diagram, the whole thing would be worth 4. That whole piece is worth 4. And you have to divide it how many times? 5 times. Oopsies. How much is one of those pieces worth? I heard it, I think. 4/5. We just said this. It's that fraction. What? Go, hurry. Fast, Carter. Okay. It says that 4 divided by 5 is 80 cents. So it's saying that he spent 80 cents per pack. But each of those packs we said was what fraction? 4/5. Okay. It also goes on to ask, if Greg spent as much money and bought twice as many cards, how much did he spend on each pack? Well, now it's saying he bought 10 cards. He got 10 cards, right? Because twice, how many did he buy in the first pack? 5 sets. But it says he spent half as much money. Well, how much did he spend in the first one? $4. So this time he spent $2. Says he spent half as much. So now 2 divided by 10. So we need to draw that tape diagram. You may have to draw this one a little longer because the whole thing is worth what? 2. But how many times do you have to split it? 10 times. Ah, perfect. So now, how would you write 2 divided by 10 as a fraction? 2 over 10. So each one of those sets now would be worth what? 2 tenths. Each one would be worth 2 tenths. And that would be 20 cents each. Everybody got it? Okay, we've just got a few more and then we're stopping. 5 pounds of birdseed is used to fill 4 identical bird feeders. What fraction of birdseed will be needed to fill each feeder? So how many pounds do we have total? 5. We have 5 pounds total. And how many bird feeders do we have to split it between? 4. So our whole tape diagram is worth 5. And how many times do you need to split it? 4. How would you write 5 divided by 4 as a fraction? 5 over 4. Do we need to do some division?
Yes.
Okay. What number goes inside? What number goes outside?
4 goes inside and 4 goes outside.
Perfect. How many whole times can it go in?
1.
1 with how much left?
4.
No, with how much
1.
left? 1. So how much is going in each bird feeder? 1 and 1/4. 1 and 1/4. 1 and 1/4. 1 and 1/4. And if I wanted to check that, what would I do with that 1 and 1/4? Add it 4 times. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4 fourths. And then we add our whole numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and 4/4 is the same as 5. Were we correct?
Can we also do like 1 and 4/4? Well, 4 times 1 and 4/4.
I prefer you just do repeated addition.
Okay.
Because we haven't started doing that yet. So I prefer you just do repeated addition. Okay, and how many pounds of birdseed are used to fill each feeder? So let's draw a tape diagram. We'll draw an arrow because we just did that. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. How many ounces of bird feed was used to fill 3 bird feeders? So how many times do I need to add it this time? 3 times. So 1 and 1/4 plus 1 and 1/4 plus 1 and 1/4. Do I need to keep going? No. So I have 3 and 3/4. It wants us to change this from pounds to ounces. We're not worried about that.